Hello and welcome to this pattern recognition video. I'll try and do 10 puzzles today featuring master level patterns. Now that just means that these puzzles were from games that were played by somebody at the 2200 to 2500 level as far as their rating, somewhere around there. So, if you're lower rated than that, you can still try these and see how you do. If they're too easy for you, then let me know in the comments. And also, if you have any requests, put a request in the comments, and I'll try and do whatever you request in the future videos within reason, nothing too crazy. All right, so here we go. What do we have now? And how do you begin? Well, you want to see what your opponent just did. What were they trying to accomplish with their last move? This knight just retreated. It was under attack by the pawn. So it looked like they were just saving their knight. They were not able to go forward anywhere. I mean, I guess they could have gone here, but we would have grabbed a pawn perhaps. So how do we respond? We look at the material, count up the material, see if you're ahead or behind. And it looks like we're entirely even as far as material. Just one pawn has been traded off the board from each side. So now we want to look at checks, captures, and threats in that order. Do we have any good checks? No, there's not even any way to check. I mean, maybe if we bring our queen here, that could be a possible check after our knight moves, so that could be a clue. And pause the video at any time if you need to think longer. Also, for anybody not familiar with pattern recognition, you basically want to just solve a set of puzzles, and instead of doing them once and forgetting them, you do them multiple times and try and solve them faster each time, solving them up to 7 times to help cement the tactics and patterns into your long-term memory, and hopefully you can use them in your own games. So we don't have any good checks. What about captures? Now, when you're looking for captures, first you want to look at anything unprotected, like this queen is unprotected, but we don't have anything targeting it. We have an unprotected bishop, unprotected knight, they have a lot of unprotected pieces. So if there is a way we can get into the position, well, hopefully you found the possibility of this move. Taking the pawn, if they capture, well, then you can move here, checking the king and forking the knight and the bishop at the same time. And if they move the bishop to block, well, then we have choices. We could, grab this knight. We could grab this knight and then be attacking the rook. So I think that's the way to go. Now, before we do that, we want to see if there's anything that our opponent could do to give us a problem. Well, and remember, if we try to sacrifice a piece by going here, they don't have to take it. But I think maybe that would be best for them. Yeah, I think that's the best. If we go here and they don't take, what are their options? I mean, they could try something crazy maybe, like, I don't know, trying to attack here with the knight, targeting our queen. But, then we could capture if the bishop captures. I think we're good. So we'll just go there. Oh, wow. That's not even the move they want. Okay. Well, what do we even do then? If that's not what they want, if we go here, something like that, the bishop could just capture and then protect that pawn. Okay. I thought that would be the best move in the position. So what am I missing? Do we try something crazy by going here? Now we're threatening to capture that way, but then the queen could capture here, targeting our rook. We'd probably have to save that rook. Queen could capture again. All right, I don't know. They don't want that? Okay, what am I missing here? Do they want that? No. Okay. Maybe we go there. Okay, let's try the other one. Okay, this is more forcing. We're attacking their queen. Okay, yeah, that was just a more forcing move. Now we can go there. All right, and here, well, we can't grab this knight because the queen's protecting it now, so we have to grab this knight. And now their rook is under attack. Oh, and we have this threat of going here, targeting the queen, jumping that knight onto the outpost. Wow, and it's not looking good for our opponent. Oh, and maybe in the future there's a threat of targeting this pawn. Okay, I hope you did better than I did on that one. On to puzzle number 2. And these are probably going to be a little bit tougher since these are master level problems. Rook has stepped forward. What did that achieve? Well, there is a dangerous threat of moving here, lining up on our king, with a possible discovered attack. So that's not looking so good. Our king is really out in the open. I've had a few of these type of games when I played online, and it is not too great when you got a wide open king here and all these pieces hovering around. And in general, it usually takes about 3 pieces to deliver a mate, but that really depends on what defenses your opponent has. Here we have a rook and a knight, but there's also this threat of just grabbing the knight immediately, and if our rook captures, then the queen can capture. So, wow, what do we do here? Okay, so what should you do in this position? Look to see what your opponent just did with their last move. What did that accomplish? Well, it looks like they're bringing in another attacker here or even here. Material. We have 5 pawns. Our opponent has 6, so we're down by 1 pawn. But we have 2 extra knights. If we live long enough to use those knights, that could help us. So, I'm thinking we probably need to attack that queen and try and defend here. If we go here, the queen is under attack. If the bishop captures, well, then we just take their queen. So probably what will happen, if we go here, they capture, our knight captures, then they have time to bring this rook in somewhere. They can't go here or our knight will be able to take that. So that's probably the way to go. I mean, the other option is if we go here, they give up the queen, we capture, they capture. I think they'll just take our queen. So if we go there, they take, we take back with the knight. Now the rook could maybe go here after our knight. And then what now? Maybe we move back. Anyway, this is the way to go, I think. Oh, wow. Okay. So now, well, I don't think it matters here. We can just still take. They'll go here and be targeting our rook and our king, so we'll have to move then they could take. So we're still ahead in material after that. All right. So I think that's the way to go, unless there's something even better here. That's what we have to do. And now we have to go here to guard our rook, because if they capture, now we capture. And if we look at the material, we have rook for rook, and then 3 pieces for their rook. You know, and as far as pawns, we're what? Down only 1 pawn. So, yeah, we should be winning here. Okay, on to puzzle number 3. A rook is just captured. What did this accomplish? Well, they grabbed a pawn, and I don't know, they're lining up on this. So, how would they proceed here? They could try and move back here maybe and then threaten to come in. Oh, also, they have this attack going. Oh, no, it's protected at the moment. All right. So they have a battery. They captured a pawn. We look at the material. We have 5 pawns. They have 3, so we're ahead by 2 pawns. We each have queen and rook, but they have an extra knight. So they are ahead at the moment. So we need to do something. Maybe we can get an attack going. But how? We look at checks, captures, and threats. You know, we could check here, the knight would capture us. So that doesn't look good. We could go here, delivering a check. But the king could go here, or just block with the queen. Oh, no, but then we could take and grab the rook. So, queen check maybe. Does this rook check do anything? If we go there, they can just capture with the knight. And they have an attack on our queen. So, also, do we just grab another pawn here and threaten another one? Oh, but if we do that, they could... Well, they can't capture this, or we will grab their rook. Oh, we could also check here, but, you know, is there any reason to do that? Put the queen all the way in the corner? I mean, it would keep us covering that. All right. Well, let's look at the checks first. Maybe that check is most promising. Oh, they can't go here, or we would take, or we could just... Yeah, well, we wouldn't do that first, or they'd grab our queen. So if we go there, they can't block because our rook is covering that. So check. If the king moves here, well, that's looking pretty dangerous, because that's a mate with the rook there. So check. King has to go there. And then, how do we continue? I don't know if we have any kind of advantage after that, or any way to proceed. We don't have a good follow-up. So maybe that's not the way to go. If we go here and check, the king just runs, you know, to safety, it looks like. So maybe, do we just go after this pawn? They can't take this pawn with the queen, or we grab the rook. They could just drop back and attack us. Then we could maybe grab another pawn. And then they could grab that one. There's also this threat at some point, threatening to bring the knight into the position. All right, just to keep this moving, this is probably not the move they want, but I'm going to go after that pawn. Okay, they don't want that. So what am I missing here? Do I sacrifice the queen? Taking? No, they could just take that way instead. You know, I was thinking if they take with the queen, we grab the rook, but I don't know. That doesn't look too good. Wow. I don't know what I'm missing here. I'll try that move. They don't like that. Maybe we check here. Okay. Yeah, maybe that works. Okay, let's figure out. Once we go here, then what? If they move to the G file, we have this check and then a capture. So that's a possibility. So they're going to have to go forward. All right, so, I guess, could they even have gone here? Then what do? We check. They have to go here. We check. I don't know. I mean, what am I mean, here we can just go like that, and then we just grab this. So we're just winning now. But what if they would have went, you know, what if they would have gone the other way? So let me pull this up. Okay. They go here. We check. Now what? I mean, what if they move to E1? E1. King to E1. We have queen check. They like C3 the best. Queen to C3 or D2 or B1. Now, if we go to B1, what do they do then? They have one option. No, they could block with multiple pieces. So let's look at the move that they have listed as number one. Now they're saying queen to B1 would have been better. Here they can just start trying to escape back over to the other side. King to F1, then we have queen to D3. Okay, so if we play this, forcing them to E2, because if they try to block, we trade up here and then we go after this. So king would have to go to E2. Now, what? Queen to B2 or D3. D3 or A2. Wow, okay, if we go there, they're saying what? King has to go to E1. Now we go to B1. King goes back to E2. Then what? Queen to A2, so we don't repeat the position. Oh, and we're going after this on the next move. Okay, let's get out of the analysis and on to puzzle number 4. Okay, the rook has moved. What did that accomplish? What blockades this pawn? And the rook was also being attacked by that pawn. So now it's our turn. What do we do here? Well, if we look at the material, we have 4 pawns. Our opponent has 5. Or no, actually we have 5 pawns and our opponent has 5 pawns, but we're down by a bishop. So if we trade material, that just kind of helps our opponent. So how do we go in for the win? Can we try something like this? If we go, oh no, then they can just take that. So we probably have to knock out that rook. I mean, if we go here and take, they have to take with the knight. If we try to go after the knight, they can go here. And then, then what do we do? So maybe we go here. Knight goes there. We block the king off, threatening to go in the other direction. Oh, wow. I think that's the way to go. Okay, we go there. Now we threaten to come up this way. And probably need to check first and grab that knight. Okay. Now we could just take here. But if we do that, that'll give them time to protect the knight. So we need to go after it. Now we're just ahead in material. They would what? Probably have to try to stop this by going here. And if we move our rook, they could take. Anyway, that should be enough with that extra rook. On to puzzle number 5. Rook has just captured here. Material. We have 4 pawns. Our opponent has 5. We each have queen and rook. We have to watch out for back rank threats, maybe. So we can't move our rook. Or we could get mated back here because of these pawns blocking our king from moving forward. Checks. What checks do we have? Well, we could move our rook with check. If the king moves here, we can go here, forking king and rook, and also guarding the back rank if the queen comes forward. So that's a possibility. So if we go here, if they move this way, then what do we do? Deliver a check. And it'll put them back on that square where we can go here and grab their rook. All right. Check. Check. Grab the rook. Now we can block that back rank mate threat. Of course they can grab this, and they have the 2 passed pawns over here, but we have an extra rook. So we should be able to stop them, especially if we can get some attack going on their king. All right. Should we do any more puzzles? Those are more difficult, so should I stop there? I don't know. Feel free to leave comments if you want longer videos or if you want short ones. Is this going to be too long if I do 10 puzzles? What the heck? I'll just do 5 more. Here we go. They push the pawn forward. What does that accomplish? Well, it slows down any attempt I would have to push pawns, maybe. If I go there, I guess they could capture and I could recapture. Also, they could take that if I push. All right. Material. We have 4 pawns. They have 2 more than us. We both have 2 rooks. They also have an extra bishop. And our king is kind of out in the open compared to their king, which is barricaded pretty good. Oh, we might have a great little sacrifice here. All right. Well, let's see what we can do. Pause the video if you want to think longer. If not, I think the answer is to sacrifice a rook. So you want to look at all checks. The only check I see is to go here. So what if we do that? If they take, well then our queen can go here with check and then mate on the next move. So that's a great little pattern. But remember, just because you try to sacrifice something, that doesn't mean they're obligated to take, unless it's absolutely forcing. They could just go here. Oh, but then that's not looking so good because our other rook can deliver the mate. So they are forced to take that. So we go there, then mate. All right, I hope you did well on that puzzle. On to puzzle number 7. The knight just dropped back. So what does that accomplish? Well, there's a threat of going here with check, forcing the king into the corner, and then a back rank mate. So we need to act, pretty quickly here. We need to do something in a hurry. But what? Well, we have a great passed pawn here. If there was a way to, do something with it. And if we look at checks first, and material is even. They have a knight, but we have 3 passed pawns. If we can do anything with them. If we look at checks, our queen could go here, or even here. Now, if we go here with our queen, they could just capture and they would be guarding the queening square. So that doesn't look so good. Maybe we could go here, covering that square and threatening to promote. Maybe that works. So if we go here, we're threatening to push our pawn on the next move, and we're attacking their queen. But we have to look at their counterplay. If we go here, they don't want to take us, or we'll retake with a pawn and promote and be winning. So once we go here, checks. What checks do they have? What about that? That looks pretty dangerous. Because, well, I guess we could go that way. Because our queen would be covering that mating square. So maybe that's how we go. All right. So maybe that works. Is there anything better? Is there any kind of a crazy sacrifice? If we go there and they take, we promote, the king would have to go back to where it was. Then I don't see anything. So I think we have to go here. If they check us, then what? We go here. Then what? Maybe they try to go here, setting up a discovered attack. Okay, yeah, this is going to get crazy. So we go there. If they check us, we have to go here. If they go here, setting up the discovered attack. Oh, I think we can just promote, and we're attacking their queen. And, well, yeah, I think that works. All right. We go there. So sure enough, they made that move. So now, well, now we can just promote. Oh, hold on, hold on. Are they threatening? They threatening a mate here now? Oh, wow. So, if we promote and they go here, the only thing we can do is block, and then that'll be captured and it'll be a mate. So, what now? Do we block? Now if they capture and we promote and they go here, we can run. But then they can check us and get us on the run. Oh, wow. All right, what's the other option? We just move over here. No, we can't go there because the knight is covering that. So, I think we have to do that. No, they don't want that. What do they want? What did I miss? All right, I can't promote. Because that is a mate. Or is it? If I promote and I go there, I would have to block. They would take and then it would be mate. So what is the option? Oh, to block that way? Now we can grab their knight and have these other two passed pawns. Oh, and then we capture with check. Wow, okay. Yeah, that was a great little maneuver there. So now we capture with check. Then, we could even go here maybe. Threaten to push that up. Wow. Okay. On to puzzle number 8. The pawn has just pushed forward. It's attacking our bishop. We do have a double discovered check possible. If you look at those checks first, you'll see that. But does that give us any kind of good follow-up afterwards? All right, let's take a look. Well, material. We have 6 pawns. Our opponent has 6 as well. 2 rooks versus their queen. But they have bishop versus bishop and knight as well. Knight versus the rook. All right, so if we move here with a discovered attack, how can we use that to the biggest advantage? Well, if we just move the knight and it's not a check with the knight as well, they can just capture here. That doesn't look too good. So do we go here? Maybe that's how we go. Or do we go here? That blocks the scope of the rook. Oh, and we have 2. Yeah, we have 2 rooks. Okay, so maybe we go here. If the king goes there, well, then we can just, deliver a mate. So, because the bishop will be covering the rook there. So if we go here, the king would have to move here. And remember, whenever you check the king, normally there's 3 options: capture, block, or run. But whenever it's a double check, you can't capture and block 2 pieces at the same time. So I'm thinking Knight goes here. The knight and the bishop are both attacking. The king would have to run here. Then what? The rook comes up and continues checking. We would have to go here. And wow. Do we check again? The king can step forward. Huh. Okay, hold on. Check. King goes here. Then what? Check again. Now, could they block with their queen? You know, and then rook takes, we take, and then they have two pieces under attack. Huh. All right, I think this is the way to go, but man, there's a lot of calculation in this. And that's why when you're doing harder puzzles, it's not all about pattern recognition. You actually do some work on your calculation as well. So it depends what you're trying to accomplish. All right, so what if we do that? If we go there, the king, you know, could still run here or here. So I'm going to go this way. All right, that's what they want. Now, we probably need to activate our rook. Okay, what next? Huh. What am I missing here? If we want to keep attacking, well, if we go here, the rook can take, and we give up two pieces for, you know, it's an even trade, but then we're behind in the rest of our material. So if we go here, the king can go here or here. And if he goes, oh, we can fork. Okay. So if we go here, if the king goes there, we can fork, go after the queen. Okay. So he'll be forced to go here. And then what? We can attack the queen and threaten a capture over here as well, a mate. Wow, okay, so attack. Then if we go here, we can go after the queen, and we're threatening a mate as well. No, okay, they don't want that. Wow. All right, what did I miss? Oh, we just immediately go after the rook. If the king takes, we have a discovered attack going after the queen. So that's a little more forcing there. All right, hopefully you found that one and did a little bit better than I did. On to puzzle number 9. We have 2 more. We're into an end game here. So material, we have 3 pawns. Our opponent has 1 pawn and a bishop. And they're trying to grab this. So we need to figure out how to get a passed pawn. You know, as they try and get a passed pawn as well. It's going to take, what, 1 move to capture, another move to come back. So 1, 2, and then 4 more. So 6 moves to promote. It's going to take us, what, 1 move to get out of the way. 2, 3, 4, 5, or they capture, we capture with our king, and then the other pawn promotes. So I think that's what we have to do. So there we go. We start moving. And then we want to move this pawn, I believe. Oh, hold on. We have to double check this now, because if we go here and, well, if they capture, then we just push the other pawn and we're fine. So now we can just promote and be winning. Okay, we go there. They go here. We can start checking. All right, let's look at the analysis, and I just want to take a quick look and see what they think the best path forward is. Okay. So, here's the moves that were played out. So promotion. Now, what if their pawn pushes forward? A7. Well, now we have F2. We're threatening to promote another pawn. Yeah, that doesn't look good. I mean, they could promote. Then what we promote with check, and we just have that extra queen. Yeah, that's looking terrible for the opponent. Okay, on to the final puzzle. Puzzle number 10. We just had a capture here. So what is our opponent trying to accomplish? Well, they grabbed some material. They're, I guess, protecting the base of the pawn chain. Material-wise, they have 4, 5, 6 pawns. We only have 2, so we're down 4 pawns, and we each have a rook and a minor piece. The one issue, though, is that king is really kind of limited on what it can do. So can we threaten a mate by going here, here, and if they run here, what if we go there? Some kind of mate like that. So if we go here, and if we take a look at checks first, doing our normal pattern, that doesn't accomplish anything. They'll just take. So I'm thinking we have to set up, we have to use a threat. So we're threatening to go here. If they go here, we move the rook there. And we have a T formation where the rook is on the square protected by the knight. It's covering these additional squares, attacking the king. And I think that works. Is there any way they can stop that? So once we go here, what if the king moves immediately? And he's threatening to run to the side. Well, we could go up here and he can't go anywhere now. Oh, he could defend though. So if we go there, he steps forward. Once we go up here and threaten the mate, he could go there. Oh, but then our knight can deliver a mate. So I think it still works. All right, we go there. Oh, now, since they just played that, we might as well just deliver the mate immediately. All right, and this is a good pattern to know. The rook is protected by the knight, but whenever you have a rook attacking the king from one of the central squares on the side, one of the 4 sides of the king, it makes a T, everything that it covers here. So it's attacking the king and also covering here. So all you have to do is worry about the other 4 squares. As long as those are covered, then you have a mate. So, the king covers these 2. The knight covers that one. And of course, the pawn is preventing the king from moving. All right, I hope you did well on these. As always, feel free to leave comments with requests or anything else that you feel like saying. And if there's something you really want to see in future videos, just let me know and I'll try and put that in a future video. Also, like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.